Talk about a fragrance. Disclaimer, no, this is not a memoir. We have a different setup for that. We're just going to talk about a fragrance today. Boss bottled the scent Magnetic for him. Had this for quite a while, but the question is, how come I have not reviewed it? To be honest, I don't like Hugo Boss very much. I know that's blasphemy for many of you guys, but I don't care. I'm on my own journey, and I have to be honest with myself. A lot of Hugo Boss smells really good. Just not great. Just not special. I just don't feel the need to go buy a bottle of it. And with Boss Bottled line, that changed. I started to get a little bit of interest. And there's so many different in the line of Boss Bottled fragrances. And I just couldn't find the one that really spoke to me until I met this guy. I heard people talking a lot about it. The kind of people who were talking about it weren't the type of people that hype fragrances up. But for many of them, this was the best from the line. And looking at its peculiar note breakdown, which is only 3 notes, I felt the need to try it. Fortunately, maybe unfortunately for me, came across it in a Ross, which is not usual at all unless it's the holidays. You start seeing some more unusual suspects hit the scene. And I found this for about 35 bucks, which is probably a steal today because typically you get this fragrance for around 40, 50 bucks. So for 35 bucks, if I'm gonna spend 5, 10 bucks trying it, waiting for the shipping, not really getting to try full bottle presentation, I just said, what the heck? I'm gonna trust my influencers and pick up the fragrance for 35 bucks. 100 mil, never look back, so glad I did. We're gonna be doing a different kind of review today. We're not in front of the computer, but I will do my best to speak in a way that is helpful for you if you're considering Boss Bottled the scent for him, Magnetic. I'm not here to talk about where it stands in the line or to do a power rank or to tell you this is the best from the line. We are just evaluating this as an individual fragrance. What's easy about it is the note composition. It's just 3 notes, or so we're told. The top note is Maninka, which is supposed to be some sort of fruit. It is, it imitates the quality of berries. It's a sweet note, has a kind of berryish note dipped in chocolate kind of feel. So there's a sense of this kind of savory, sweet, chocolated or coated berry type of feel to it. It's a vanilla fragrance. The heart note is Bran, which you can kind of think of as like oatmeal or wheat. It's supposed to be kind of the outer part of it, just associated and affiliated with wheat family kind of thing. It evokes kind of a note of nuttiness, warmth, coziness, density, body to a fragrance. And in the base, we have some sort of black vanilla. It's like black husk vanilla or something like that. So pretty simple composition. Maninka, Bran, vanilla. And it really is a vanilla fragrance, but what's unique about it is just that. It's not your typical vanilla. It almost seems today that saying not typical vanilla is kind of typical. You know, it's like, I know you know that I'm telling you it's different, but how is that helping you to smell it with your own eyes as you watch this video? You know what I'm saying? Let's walk in reverse. You've got a fairly somewhere between dry and dense wet vanilla, sits somewhere in the middle. It's a middleweight heavy vanilla that is dry but dense, full but airy. And then it's tinted and charactered and swagged out by this kind of red berry dipped in chocolate feel, but mostly the Bran. So think of it as a kind of middleweight, slightly dense, dry vanilla that is coated in wheat. And so it's got this kind of almost like dry, nutty, slightly heavy vanilla to it. But then this red berry dipped in chocolate Maninka thing is giving it a kind of almost airy, crispy Spice Bomb infrared kind of coating over the fragrance. Makes it very intimate, very sensual, very nightlife. That's kind of why I made the lighting the way that it was tonight, because it feels very intimate. It feels effortlessly intimate. The airiness and the middle weightness of it feels like you're not coming off too strong. And that's what I love about this vanilla, is it's somewhere between the style of intimacy that like a Valentino Uomo or a Born in Roma would kind of hit, where those are kind of middleweight, lightweight intimacy fragrances because they evoke so much freshness that it's almost like tiptoeing into intimacy. And that's why those fragrances are great all day fragrances, because they truly can be worn during the day, whether you're intimate or in a date setting or not, but they can also carry the sweetness and the intimacy and the tint into the evening or into a date or slightly more serious occasion with somebody you're interested in. But this goes even a little bit heavier with the brand on top of the vanilla. The vanilla is not what takes it into density. That's what kind of takes it into somewhere between lightweight and middleweight. But the brand really adds a little bit extra weight. So it probably sits, even in fairness, somewhere between middle and heavyweight in terms of the density of the fragrance. But the dryness of the fragrance almost makes it feel like someone who's 200 pounds but extremely light on their feet. You know, they could run in a triathlon, if that makes sense. So again, it's just super unique in the marketplace. We look at vanillas and, you know, we see amber vanilla, spice vanilla, boozy vanilla, animalic vanilla. Rarely do we see a kind of red berry approach to vanilla. But what allows it to not feel like Spice Bomb infrared or any of these kind of reddish fragrances, a red tobacco, a Prada Luna Rossa Le Parfum, is the Bran. I truly feel like the Bran note, especially being in the heart, is what sets this apart from all the other fragrances, because simply getting a wheat vanilla feel completely changes the vanilla. And then when you add the red berry aspect on top of it with the Maninka, it just makes it truly unique. It's so smooth for a Boss fragrance. I don't get much synthetics or sharpness. Now, most fragrances are made with synthetics, so when I say it on my channel, I typically just mean something distasteful, something annoying, something unnatural. This blend is very smooth. It's very rich. It's very projective. Medium sillage, but man, it's just dry, romantic, intimate effortlessness. I think, obviously it's a men's fragrance. I wouldn't recommend women really get into it. You can wear what you want, but I don't really see any qualities to this that make it feel unisex. And maybe that's just because it imitates so many masculine designer fragrances that I've been around. Again, the scent profile is unique, but the vibe, you can get a similar vibe as this in a lot of different fragrances in the designer market. Again, its profile is what makes it different. I think this is fall winter, but due to the dryness and the airiness of this fragrance, if I wore it in the spring summer, it would have to be after hours, you know, anything after sundown, evening, or indoors. I think it leans more romantic than casual, so it's different. It's not trying to be some of this kind of hybrid fragrance like Eros or something where it feels totally appropriate during the day, but it also feels intimate at night. But it's clearly kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out in each whenever you're wearing it in that scenario. This leans almost exclusively intimate after hour late night style, but due to the dryness and the airiness, you can wear it a little bit earlier in the day or just completely outside of the intimate kind of date night scenario. I find this fragrance romantic, I find it cozy, and I find it unique. Those are three things that really stand out to me about this fragrance. And I truly feel like I got the best from the line. I'm totally pleased with it, especially at the price point. But even if it was 40, 50, 60 bucks, I would totally buy it. Since the recording of this video, I've smelled a lot of Boss bottles. And I really think that other fragrances can meet this where it's at in terms of being just as good as, but I don't think much from Boss bottled line just beats it outright. And for its uniqueness, I think it stands out from the rest. I highly encourage you guys to try it. This is the first time I ever smelled Maninka fruit or Bran in a fragrance. I've smelled stuff that smells like it, but those particular notes stood out to me, and that's why I purchased the fragrance. You know, again, I had been hearing about it for like a year and a half before I ever saw the fragrance. And then once I saw it, I was kind of like, oh wow, yeah, I always wanted to put my nose to that, and I'm so glad that I did. Sprays on this, it's a good performer. It's almost moderate to high. I mean, it's kind of that typical 6 to 8 hour mark. I get great performance from it. The trigger is like a squirt gun though. I'll be honest, I don't know if you guys can see this. Like, I have two lights over here and I could spray it from one light and hit the other light. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, four to six sprays, it's gonna go for a 6 to 8 hour period. If it was in the winter or I had a breeze or fall time, super windy, you can go up to like 8 sprays, maybe 10 sprays if you're gonna be outdoors and stuff. But if you're generally indoors, I would kind of play it safe and then ramp up. I would also, because it has such a loud projection, I would wear it under clothes, you know, more on skin, and put the shirt on over it so that it kind of settles a lot quicker and it's a little less harsh. Again, I don't think it's harsh. I just think the vanilla is so robust that it jumps off of your skin. Alternatives to this, I really don't feel that there are any. You know, there's plenty of vanillas you can get, but where are you going to find Bran and Maninka in a fragrance in a kind of mono-note fashion as this? I haven't seen anything, and I'd let you know if I did. I just think for the price point, the uniqueness, and where it stands in the Boss bottled lineup, this is one of one to me. It's a designer that I'm more than happy to have on my shelf. And for somebody who's as critical as I am about vanillas, I truly think it is a special vanilla. You just don't get something like this in the marketplace. And it's surprising that that came from a designer house. I don't think this fragrance feels niche, but it feels like S-tier designer quality. And I'm very happy with it. I give this fragrance a 9 out of 10 for me. I think it's not only above average, but the unique character of it in such a mass appeal market that predominantly produces fragrances that mostly have vanilla or musk. Having a fragrance that stands out is pretty tricky because you have so many different offerings. Very pleased with what they did with this one. I think that's what kind of ramps it up to the 9, and I think the only thing that keeps it from a 10 is really the depth. It's rich, but it doesn't have a lot of depth, and I don't think it needs to. However, because it's a designer fragrance, it does feel like a designer fragrance, and that's not always a bad thing, but it does dock it on my scorecard. It just feels so simple that they could have maybe spent a little bit more time on the texture of it, but I'm sure there are other niche fragrances that can get you close to this vibe that do a better job at creating a more three-dimensional, four-dimensional experience. So 9 out of 10 for me, which is quite high. I don't give many designers a 9 out of 10. And for vanilla, I feel like if you like vanilla fragrances, you've got to give this one a try, because you're just not going to come across a lot of fragrances that smell like this. Stuff will smell like the vanilla in this, but not like the Bran or the red berry kind of chocolate feel. Anyways, this was the Boss bottle, the Scent Magnetic. 9 out of 10 fragrance. I want you to get your nose on it so bad, and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions about this fragrance, because I didn't do my typical at the desk setup, so I don't have a prompt in front of me or the note breakdown in front of you, But if you have any questions about it, or you have the fragrance and want to add to the conversation, please feel free to put it in the comments section below. Like, comment, and subscribe, but more importantly, turn on that notification bell because I drop episodes every single day. So if you're into fragrance content of all kinds, we cover it all, we keep it entertaining, and I want to equip you guys on your fragrance journey no matter where you are to continue to smell great fragrances and move along in your journey a lot more efficiently than I did. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you stay blessed, and until next time, peace.